your best lessons come from failure. The pain of realizing that I was really being a shit dad.
This didn't just happen overnight.
I would say about 10 years ago, I was burning the candle at both ends. Man, there were so many parts of my life that were going wrong. Every moment that I wasn't wrapped up in overworking, I was on my phone, I was on social media. I was actually on social media talking about how great my life was.
And I just realized it just hit me so hard. I'm that person.
Yes.
Kind of get that aha moment and understand for the first time. It's this really small blink if you miss it moment.
Actually, just like you, I was trying to escape from something that was bothering me.
Yeah. What broke me out of that cycle, it's going to sound really cliche, but I read a book that created this spark. And the more that you can bring yourself to the present moment, the more that you can actually live your life, right?
You have to give yourself room to play.
Yeah.
Jordan, Christian, welcome to our show at MSP Global. It's a massive pleasure to have this set up with you guys. It's a total random encounter, and we just decided to do it quite spontaneously. But yeah, let's see where we end up. How are you guys doing today, Christian?
Doing very well, and it's only random in that 24 hours ago we didn't know that we'd have so much cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But being here at MSP Global and chatting in the halls, we spark on some of the things that we're all doing.
Yeah.
We're inspired by it. And so it didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of genuine conversation in the hallways, which is great. A testament to MSP Global itself.
You summed it up perfectly. And Jordan?
Yeah, doing great. Tired, but good. I think with a crowd like this, great conversations are really only a matter of time before they emerge.
Yeah.
Interesting people are going to meet interesting people, and then interesting stuff is going to happen. So it's pretty cool.
It almost seems like predestined, like destined to be. I'm thinking German. So at the podcast that I'm doing, I have a new podcast now called Besser, werden, becoming better in German. So I've already had really crazy people, and we always start with the same questions at the beginning to kick it off. So
really?
I ask my guests, what's keeping you busy right now? Let's start with you.
I am tremendously busy, but it's all with passion projects.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, for context, I run the internet's biggest, the internet infrastructure's biggest, what's the word?
Trade association.
Trade association.
Yeah.
And so our job there is to try to protect the free and open internet and to try to teach legislators and regulators how the internet works so that they don't do stupid stuff to mess it up.
Yeah,
right?
it's an important mission.
It's a pretty important mission, right? But through the context of that, man, so many opportunities have arisen. I've gotten involved with a museum project, which really has us getting into arts and culture. And so now it's not just open internet, but it's open culture, right?
Yeah.
Now I've been spending a lot of time helping develop a new organization that we're calling the Coalition on Digital Impact, which is focused on language equity, right?
Yeah.
And so it's open language, right? And so trying to make the world a better place by trying to leverage internet resources through open internet, open culture, and open language takes up all of my time.
This is insane. I mean, what you just summed up in a few sentences is making a huge impact on so many people.
We're trying to. Yeah. I mean, it's hard, right? If any of those tasks were easy,
then everybody could.
And they wouldn't be the Sisyphean tasks that I have given myself.
It would have been done already.
Right.
I love the reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all, it's funny because when we sit down with legislators and regulators, they're often trying to solve a problem on the internet.
Yeah.
Right. And what they don't realize is how much work that's already been done in these areas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first thing that you need to understand is that, let's take internet piracy as an example, right? 95% of the problem is being solved effectively by people doing good work, on the front lines every day, right?
Yeah.
And what's left is the hard stuff. And we can talk about the hard stuff, but it's hard for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And so if you approach it from, you got to start somebody's got to start doing something. Well, people are doing things, right? In all the areas that I'm working on, there's so many people working really hard on it, right? And what's left is the hard stuff.
Yeah. And someone has to do it. And through a lot of collaboration too.
Yeah.
And I want to get back to you, Jordan, because I mean, I've known you for so many years, but like, it amazes me that you're a person with like lots of talent. I feel like talent stacking almost, and like, what's keeping you busy? Like, what's one of the primary things that I always try to get out of my people is like to understand what's your purpose. Like with Christian, I understand that he wants to make an impact, and he has found his way through the digital community and the internet infrastructure. And how about you?
Well, the quick answer is what's keeping me busy is MSP Global, because I'm part of the production team. I'm the senior copywriter and content lead. On a larger sense, very similar mission to Christian's really is I want to make, in my own small way, make the internet a better place.
Yeah.
And so my work with the team behind CloudFest and MSP Global, we definitely try to promote a sense of community and sense of values in building technology. It doesn't have to be cold and dead. Like the internet is very human, and its infrastructure should also feel human. And that ties into the work that I do with Christian in my own small way with I2 Coalition.
It's not a small way.
It's insane. Just to get back to your point, I find it incredible that you just mentioned it's a real thing. It's the internet. But like, last night I was on my way, since I'm moderating during the event, I was on my way to have a semi-early night, like at 12. And I meet this guy on the way, and he's like, "Hey man, how are you doing?" Like we were just walking together, and he's obviously also in the infrastructure industry. And he tells me many people think there's the real world and there's the internet, digital world.
Yeah.
But he says it's part of our real world because it's a baby that we generate. We are the product of millions of years of evolution. And this is the evolution. Then we're creating AI, we're creating digital platforms, but this is real.
Yeah.
And it's also like real people doing real work in real spaces.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that either. And I was going to say that like you discount the work that you do. So we basically borrowed. Jordan is so prolific and so good at what he does that in addition to all the work that he does on all the conferences, I begged, borrowed, and stole some of his time to try and fight the good fight on learning the internet as well, and trying to teach people the internet, right?
Yeah.
Because we've got these lessons, we've got to explain to people that even though we're using ethereal terms like cloud and World Wide Web that make it sound like it's just magic, right? That it's real people in real places doing real things, and that there is that human aspect of it. And Jordan's amazing at being able to do that.
I really appreciate that. And what's hugely rewarding is when you see the light bulb come on for someone. Like we were just at the I2 Coalition fly-in, what felt like 20 minutes before coming to MSP Global, and just
2
seeing
weeks before.
Yeah, and seeing in these meetings with lawmakers, staffs, and seeing people kind of get that aha moment and understand for the first time what we're trying to convey. Yeah. It's this really small blink if you miss it moment. But when you see it, it's awesome in the true sense of the word.
Because most people think of the internet as, Apple X Microsoft, like Amazon, like a small group of companies, right? Meta, right? Yeah. Alphabet. And then, or maybe your ISP, maybe your broadband provider. And that's really it. They have no concept of any of the stuff that we're dealing with here today and all the people that it takes to enable it, right? So those are the lessons that we need to tell.
Yeah. What you said, Jordan, I'm doing things in my small way, having my small impact, so to speak. This is something that I hear often, even from people that have incredible roles. Like I had in my podcast recently, at the Besser werden podcast recently, we had Julian. He's a C-level advisor for the Volkswagen Group, the car manufacturer.
Sure.
And he says, like, you have your impact and you do every day, like you have your own contribution. And then I think there are synergies that happen in ways that you cannot foresee in advance.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. And I wonder if that I guess urge to self-deprecate or self-reduce comes from this moment we're living in where
Yeah.
everything around us just seems so big and unsolvable and dark. We talked a few minutes ago about doom loops, and it's easy to see yourself as like, oh, all I did was water my plant today. And like,
Yeah.
oh, well, now that plant is going to be healthy. It's the little things that you do.
For sure. I gave the example recently that 40,000 years ago, there were two types of people living on this planet in Europe and Asia, the Neanderthal and the Homo sapiens, and then they lived together for about 6,000 years, and only one of them survived the Ice Age. And that has a reason, because they were like, although Neanderthal, they had bigger brains, they were smarter in individual tasks, but they weren't able to act as a community. Going back to your point with the community, they weren't able to act as a community and find solutions, which led to their extinction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that goes back to your point, Christian. Like we have an impact,
All of the things that I'm doing with Jordan, they're all organizing and they're all collective and they're all focused on what we can do together. The reason that I can get involved with a lot of projects is that I'm not doing them, right? I can try to be a missionary for that work, right? I can try to be a catalyst for that work, but it's all community work.
Yes, absolutely. We are only so strong as far as we can collaborate. I think that's the biggest message. And the reason I want to do these interviews with people like yourselves is to inspire others that have the feeling what I'm doing doesn't have the biggest impact.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would be your message?
I would say think about George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic.
Amazing.
Because if you think about like what instrument is George Clinton famous for playing, he's not famous for playing any instruments. He's the band leader of these two incredible entities. And not only is Parliament awesome, not only is Funkadelic awesome, but the P-Funk All-Stars, them together, are even more awesome. So everyone has a part to play.
And Maggot Brain has the greatest guitar solo of all time.
Yeah. 100% hard agree.
Going back, like yesterday I met Martin. Zern made an introduction to Martin, and he was showing me his first guitar. Like
That guy's so great.
I love him. I just called him that I want to interview him, and I will bring him to Berlin. And just hopefully you'll have to learn some German and watch the episode. But he showed me, I was like, I don't know, like my dad would take me to music classes, and like I started with 5.
Yeah.
And I'm doing exactly the same with my son, who was 5. And he said I was 14, 15, and I saw this guitar and just like fell in love with it. It was way more than
I love it.
I could afford.
And you're playing now?
Yeah, he told me that he's a musician. I mean, like obviously, like it's just what in my case I discovered that a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I'm super passionate. I'm taking piano lessons with 40 years old almost.
Oh, that's great.
I will join your band in maybe 5 years.
Totally.
I mean,
we should.
I learned to play guitar in my 40s. So
Really?
And he's great, and sometimes he plays at the beginning of meetings. Just to give a little bit more context for my little joke about that, I actually mean it. I do love the guitar solo of Maggot Brain, but George Clinton, who doesn't pretty much play an instrument, the direction that he gives to his guitarist when they went in to record that session was, "I want you to play this solo like your mother just died."
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's crazy,
right?
Wow.
I mean, being able to direct that type, I mean, it really is powerful to be able to have a vision and then help others articulate that vision in such meaningful ways.
To help other people see what you see when what you're seeing is in the inside of your head is easier said than done.
Yeah.
Jordan, you know what I realized when I had this struggle, Christian, I think I told you yesterday, I was dealing with a lot of people that were doing operational things, like having 9 to 6, 7, like these. They were just looking at their to-do list and getting things done, which is okay. But I was trying to portray a vision of what I was seeing. I was like this. I was dreaming, and I couldn't. I think the ability to inspire and take these people with you is so important, because when we combine emotions with whatever we're doing on the technical level, this becomes super powerful and get other people on board. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Let me give you one more bit of context. And this plays to the work that Jordan and I do together, because he's on the organizing staff for this conference.
Yeah.
But I've been on the advisory board for their series of conferences for a number of different years, right? And the environment we create when we sit down to try and figure out what to put on stage at these conferences, it's this really interesting mix. It really works well, right? You have to create a environment that has people all understanding the goal and all understanding what the terms of success are.
Yeah.
And so there's so much structure. There's so much of a room that needs to be built around the creative forces, right? To create them in a way that's going to sort of focus you towards the right goal.
Yeah.
That it's not just chaos. It's not dreaming. It's really structured dreaming, and having both sides.
Structured dreaming.
Being able to do that part where you build the walls around it and you
Lucid
focus
dreaming.
it towards a goal, right? But then you just let yourself go and you let yourself dream.
Yeah.
That's what leads you to success.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You have to give yourself room to play.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you guys should definitely keep talking. I get to go in
One
Whitfield Diffie, the co-creator of Public Key PortAventura. How amazing is that?
one last sentence.
Sure.
I ask every single guest who's been at my podcast, what is becoming better for you?
What's becoming better for me is my ability to listen.
Wow.
That's right.
Beautiful.
Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful to have friends like you guys. It's so cool.
It's been a pleasure. Jordan, thank you.
The pleasure's all
we will do a little bit longer.
Okay.
Please do.
Christian.
Yeah.
What is becoming better for you?
One of the things that I have, because I'm somebody who has always wanted to go out there and achieve and do better. I have in the past had a tendency to run myself ragged. And what's better now is my ability to explore stillness.
Yeah.
And calm.
Yeah.
And to find peace and have that refuel me.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, I had this dream of inspiring, like I believe smart people learn from their own mistakes.
Yeah.
Very smart people learn from the mistakes of other people, because they, as Jordan said, they listen, they reflect, they observe. Two things. I want to know how this switch happened, because recently people are writing to me because of the podcast, and they're like, if you ever doubt your mission, remember my message.
Yeah.
That you make an impact and you inspire, because I'm like, some of them are saying I'm much younger than you guys are, maybe beginning of 20s. I haven't had all these encounters, or I'm still searching. I don't know what the heck I'm going to do.
Yeah.
This is inspiring me.
Yeah.
So for me to understand what brought you there, where you're like, where you got comfortable enough that you could spend time with yourself without doing anything else. This is so difficult for many of us.
I would say about 10 years ago, I was at a period in my life where I was still doing a lot of cool projects, but I was burning the candle at both ends, and I was not creating any spaces for self-exploration. I was not creating any spaces other than just doing things that I thought provided me meaning, right? And man, there were so many parts of my life that were going wrong. I was unhappy with the the company that I had created at the
Yeah.
time and my role in it. I had some personal unhappinesses to contend with.
Yeah.
And every moment that I wasn't wrapped up in overworking, right? I was on my phone. I was on social media. I was actually on social media talking about how great my life was.
That's the contradictory.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Trying to convince myself and everybody else.
Oh my God.
And it was to the point where when I would spend time with my kids, I would be distracted from being present with them so that I could talk about how great it was to be with
How
my
old
kids.
were they at that time?
At the time?
Yeah,
right?
10 years ago.
5 and 8.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And it was a bad cycle, right? What broke me out of that cycle to sort of find the beauty of stepping back from devices, right? And to refinding the calm and the peace. It's going to sound really cliche, but I read a book that really that created this spark.
Indistractable.
It wasn't. It was actually The Power of Now.
Power of Now. Yeah.
It was The Power of
Indistractable is quite new in comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. It was Eckhart Tolle.
Wow.
And my mother had given it to me because she saw the problem that I was having with device distraction. And she said that she heard about it. She heard about it on Oprah. And so that was an immediate turnoff. And I didn't touch the book for 4 years because I didn't want to just read some Oprah book.
That hit so hard. Same here for so long.
Right.
Yeah, same here.
And then eventually I just had this sort of desperate moment and I picked it up off the shelf and it just sort of it immediately clicked.
Oh my God.
And it really was this idea. So the concept is fairly simple. It's this, just a simple concept that like so much pain comes with us either looking back or looking forward. You live in the past and you are focused on, you're depressed, right?
Yeah.
If you look, you're all focused on the future, you're filled with anxiety, right?
Yeah.
And the more that you can bring yourself to the present moment, the more that you can actually live your life, right?
Yeah.
That simple concept was like, it showed me how much of my life was being lived in anxiety, right? And how much I was distracting myself from the moments that mattered and my ability to make an impact in my kids' lives and in all the things I wanted to do to make the world a better place because I was pulling myself out of the present moment to be worried about a future moment.
Sort of escapism.
Yeah, it was totally escapism.
It's in search of that cheap dopamine.
Uh-huh.
So that you distract yourself. You don't have to confront yourself. I mean, don't you think it is actually just our bodies giving us signals? Hey, this isn't getting you anywhere. So you feel depleted. So you're in this vicious cycle. What helped me was I started really I decided to detach myself from my devices, have hard cuts.
That's great.
Don't take it to your bedroom.
That's great.
Don't take it, I have little kids, right? Now they are 3 and 5, but I was notorious for always looking at my phone.
Yeah.
Even talking to someone, I would look at my phone. Someone would, I would get a notification, I would look at it and just completely be distracted.
Yeah.
And I was on a trip with a friend of mine and he was looking at his phone all the time. And I just realized it just hit me so hard. I'm that person.
Yes.
And I felt so bad because, oh my God, what did other people think? I was just lost. And I was actually, just like you, I was trying to escape from something that was bothering me.
Yeah.
The triggers and the cues.
Yeah.
This is what I learned, that there's a system behind it. Indistractable in this book, I just learned every time you get a notification, it's actually even worse if you don't look at your phone.
Yeah.
You're more distracted, and that this lasts for quite some time. So if it beeps once, you're out.
I see that you've got one of those
Digital
watches.
Yeah.
I've never gotten one because I thought that the buzzing would
All my notifications.
trigger.
Since I read this book, the recommendations turn off all your notifications. All my notifications are off.
Mine too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just using it to track my sleep and stuff like this.
That's great. And I'm not saying that I've gotten to the point where I'm perfect, but the me of 10 years ago and the me of today, the intention is still there. I'm still the same person who's trying to accomplish the same things, right? But it was so transformative to my effectiveness and my happiness.
Yeah.
To try to sort of realize the power of being in the present moment.
This is so valuable because you mentioned it had a personal impact on you. It must have had a cost.
Yeah. Well, it was costing a number of different things.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
I'm happy to. You articulated some of it because the kind of person that you were looking at that was never there.
Yeah.
You're talking to, and they're thinking about the alert that they just got.
Yeah.
Or worrying about the person that they should be talking to rather than the person that's in front of them. Right. I was absolutely that person.
Same here.
100%. Always nervously worried about what else I need to be focused on. Right. I would have enough time to have this conversation with you 10 years ago. Because something like this, a good podcast, takes presence. You would do a very good job of engaging me presently, right? But it's tough to have that type of conversation.
Yes.
When you are completely distractible by all the things that you're trying to do. I do not feel like the relationship with my kids was how I needed it to be. I've always loved my kids. My kids have always loved me.
Obviously.
I try to create a happy and healthy and safe environment. And I think that they've always felt loved, right? But I was not being an example to them of how to be in the world, right?
Yes.
Nor was I really getting to know them, or giving them a chance to get to know me. Because me was that guy that you were talking about. The image of the person who was always sort of like flittering about, worrying about what else they need to be working on.
Same. We recently had our very first Besser werden event in Germany, where I had as one of my guests, like the former managing director of Pinterest Germany. And he told me like he would just go home.
Yep.
His son would like ask him something and he would just be like checking his emails. I mean, most of the time, nothing is even coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's this like thing that's returning, like you're anticipating lots of things coming in, but like what you're missing in the moment being around your kids.
That's right.
This has a huge opportunity cost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think like it's actually such a simple thing, but it amazes me how much of it we're oblivious to that in the business industry, it seems.
And you don't get those years back, and you don't get the opportunities back that you're not, you're not taking full advantage of. Like even the things that I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
Right. I was the person that would have. I've talked about 3 different projects, right? I'm probably running 5, right?
You don't even have.
Right? There's a couple others that don't like fit the narrative, so I'm not even going to get into them, right? But like, I'm a busy person, right? And I've always been a busy, high functioning person, right?
Yeah.
My effectiveness at being able to do that was extremely poor before I could really be directly and solely engaged with the thing that's in front of me.
Yeah.
Only then was I able to give, because everything gets fractional time.
Yeah.
Nothing gets full time. I do not have a project in which that I give full time to, right? Everything gets fractional time. But if it gets fractional distracted time, it's worthless, and everything I do is worthless.
It's lose-lose, like losing on both ends.
Right.
Yeah, you're just describing me a while ago.
Yeah.
I had this. What helped me was really it's not a coincidence that we're doing Besser werden at the most premium spa chain in Germany and Europe. It's like David Lloyd Meridian. And because I discovered for me, like, I need to have a routine where I don't look at these devices, where I just either take a walk in the nature. I started taking my kids to the forest and just leave my phone at home, just like take a break, like a forced break. And I even got a device. an entrepreneur from the world of e-commerce where I'm pretty much well known. He sent me a device, like you tap onto it once, it hard blocks all the apps.
Nice.
And when you come home, you can tap on it again.
Yeah.
So if you're just somewhere where this hardware is not with you, then you cannot unlock the apps. That helped me a lot. And then like I'm testing it right now. And beyond that also is just like deciding, like going to the spa, like taking just time off. That's just like heat therapy, cold therapy, like cold ice bath. Like most of the people that do ice bath, they are like, yeah, you have to do it like 5 a.m. club. But my take is, it's like test it at least. Find out what your individual requirements are.
I think that's great. I want to make sure that people understand, as I say this, that I'm not anti-technology. I fight for technology.
Yeah.
Literally, like so much of what I do is trying to champion the kinds of amazing tech that we've got in the world, right? But I really do feel as though the more analog that I can bring into my world, the better off that I am. And so, like, you know, you talk about the brick device for a while.
Yes.
That really resonates with me. A few years ago, around that same period, I am a big music fan. I decided that I was going to get back into vinyl, and it was not because of the sound quality. I don't really care about the sound quality, right? It was I have an app in which I can decide absolutely I can play anything, right? But I don't know what I want to play. When everything is an option,
The paradox of choice or whatever it's called.
Choice, so having a small curated collection of the things that I love, which has slowly expanded to 1,200 records, by the way. I love the ritual of finding something that I love, and you know, in 10 years it's 1,200. But like, I think I'd love every album that I've got. I can pick anyone off the shelf, and put it on, and the ritual of having that on is really helpful to me. You know, it is a practice that. I mean, it's not meditation, but there are lots of meditative practices that we have in our life that ground us. Yeah. Right. And that's a really grounding experience for me.
And that's exactly the point. Since your music is your passion, like for someone else, it's maybe climbing a mountain.
Sure.
For someone else, it's just like working on their garden or whatever, you know, it's very individual. Yep. And I read countless self-improvement, self-optimization books. And I just like, in founding Besser, werden, I just decided, I think it takes a different approach. It takes an approach where it's individual. It's very much custom made for your needs. Yeah. And I think there's a trend, there's some sort of a movement right now of people that are just like reversing it. They're like saying, like they're realizing this is not taking them anywhere. The relationship is going down. Mm-hmm. The relationship to your partner, to your kids, to your friends, like we're just in this hamster wheel. Yeah. But in that case, you're not even doing any adding any value in the industry you're working also, because you're fractional, adding value fractionally.
Yeah. I will throw out one bit of shade, you know, because you know, I talked about being pro-technology, and I talked about the things that I was doing and taking full responsibility. I do take full responsibility for my distractions, and I was calling on devices, right?
Yeah.
But we do also need to be aware that, you know, there are major corporations who run, whose job it is to try and exploit every single second of your day.
Yes.
You know, that you are a commodity. Your time is the commodity that, you know, billion-dollar organizations are fighting for, right?
Yeah.
And so we are operating in an environment where all of us are experiencing these problems, and it is getting worse because we're fighting against a machine that is desirous of our attention. It's an attention economy, right?
Yes.
And so I see it as a very important act for us to take control of our own time and attention, and to dole it out and marshal it out, you know, in only the doses that make sense for our own health, right? right? It's not to say I'm not saying don't go on social media. Social media sucks, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying understand that they want everything, and that's probably not good for you.
I mean, just the proof of your point is that we will probably promote this on social media. This is how we will reach people. But it's like something you said.
Connects you
Along the way.
It's tools that we have. It all connects you. It's made the world a better, more connected place. That's great.
Going back to the beginning, internet is real.
Yeah.
Digital environments are real. And this is just an extension of what we've created. And we just have to take control of whatever we're doing. As a matter of fact, I don't think we are in control most of the time. We're just kind of like following this doom scrolling and stuff. Like, I don't think you're in control anymore. And this is what the book says, like indistractable.
Right.
You're no longer in control.
If you are not aware to the realities, then you're certainly not in control.
Yes.
The more you can be intentional about what it is you're doing, the more that you assume control.
Fantastic. I want to go back to like making an impact.
Yeah.
Because an answer I get often from people that say like becoming better is not just about yourself, but the impact you have on your surroundings and the world, because it's not just about you, right? So
of course,
I think this conversation with you is special because you're someone who has a massive impact and who will continue to have a massive impact. And this didn't just happen overnight. This is the result of your journey where you struggled. You talked about 10 years ago, you talked about your relationship struggles, and you were not there when your kids were 5 and 8. But that changed. And that's the beauty of it, the journey.
I like to think that I am having an impact. But I've chosen as my sort of palette for having that impact.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of never-ending tasks.
Yeah.
There's always going to be more legislators and regulators who don't understand this stuff. They continue to cycle. They continue to be bored. They continue to grow, right? We are never going to be able to, empower the number of museums and cultural institutions that we want to empower to be able to share the arts and culture that we want. There are 7,000 languages out there that we're trying to save, and we're going to lose more than we win in that, right?
For sure.
And so I appreciate you telling me that I'm making an impact. I feel like what I want to do is I want to keep on being a megaphone more than a doer. I want to continue to find ways that I can champion the things that we're doing as worthy tasks for the whole group, for the whole whoever has aligned morals and beliefs, right? To pick up these things and also help work on them, because they're not tasks I can take alone, right?
Yeah. It takes the community to do it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I ask every single person I interview, this is a compact format today, but every single person I interview, 4 questions at the end.
Oh, okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Christian, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received, and why did it matter so much to you?
Ooh. Are you allowed to take a moment to think?
Absolutely. Please do. Please do. Yeah.
Best piece of advice that I've ever been given.
It's a big one.
It is. It is.
Take your time, man.
When I was a kid, I talked about sort of anxiety, right? And on that spectrum of depressed to anxious, I was definitely more on the anxious side and still have those tendencies.
Was that always like that?
I think so. I think, it showed in different ways, but I was a kid who was always nervous, didn't like to go on roller coasters, things like that.
It's funny that we're recording this on a theme park.
And I remember we would go on family trips, and I wouldn't want to do any of the activities that they were doing because it always made me very nervous. And my father said to me, "You can't let your fears control your life."
Oh my God. And you remembered?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
How old were you?
I mean, I was very little. I was 7 years old, something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. How old are you now?
I'm 48.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is powerful.
It is. It is. You can't let your fears control your life. There was so many things that were fun opportunities that I was holding myself back from, for really unreasonable reasons, right?
I'm getting goosebumps. That's great.
And so, I mean, the kinds of work that I was talking about before, about trying to bring in the present moment, it's a little bit about being able to understand that you do have some control over your emotions. I mean, we all have tendencies towards it. There are mental health issues. There's lots of things. There's lots of control mechanisms outside, like social media and things like that keep us from having complete control. We'll never have complete control.
Yes.
But you do have some locus of control over your emotions and actions. And if you don't take the wheel at all, right? And you just sort of let the world happen to you and let a lot of things pass you by because you're not willing to let them happen to you, you're going to have a far less fulfilling life than if you don't let your fears control your life.
And you know what? Sometimes you don't get a second chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for that. Christian, is there something in your life you truly regret? And if so, why?
I alluded before to the pain of realizing that I was really being a shit dad, right? And, there are certainly moments that I wish that I would have been more present. But I'm going to say no, that I don't have that regret because your best lessons come from failure. I've failed a lot, right? I've failed a lot, but like, I actually tell my kids I want them to fail.
Oh, wow.
because failure is your best lesson.
Yeah.
That
was so poetic.
Your best lessons always come from failure. They're the things you remember the most, right? I don't know that I would be as good as I am now about being able to be sort of present and engaged if I didn't have the negative experience of realizing I was being a shit dad in moments of my kid's childhood to look back at and say, oh, I'm not going to be like that, right?
Amazing.
So I have to maintain that. You have to be happy with the things that you sucked most at because they taught you the biggest lessons.
And this is why we need lots of courage and we need just to be authentic and just courageous and just to say, I was a shit dad.
Yeah.
I was a shit employee. I was a bad partner. I just sucked at something.
Yeah.
You know what? I love this saying, Christian. I notice it right now as an entrepreneur. I used to think I'm getting all this done. I'm like successful, so self-centric.
Yeah.
I was so proud of telling people like I made this happen myself alone, like without any help.
Yeah.
Where I am today, I think I am a success today because I stand on the shoulders of giants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was willing to ask for help. Because you listened. After 4 years, what your mom told you, like to read this book. It took some time. It takes time.
Yeah.
But I hope it doesn't take that long for other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do.
Which weakness you had has later turned out to be one of your greatest strengths?
So there's an interesting thing that I'll say about anxiety as somebody who was struggled with anxiety, right? it can be a bit of a superpower too.
I love it.
I mean,
Tell us how.
There's a creativity in it, right? All the kinds of, if you're going to imagine a bunch of shit that might happen, you've got a very vivid imagination, right?
Yeah.
You're like you've turned up that like, oh, what if? And then all of a sudden you're a really good what if machine. Right?
Nice. Wow.
Like the work that I do
Wow.
with Jordan. Jordan was here before. We do a lot of programming work for these conferences and things like that. And sometimes we're spitballing on the craziest stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I think some of the like deepest anxieties that I dealt with really started exercising those creativity muscles that allow me to operate in that space, right?
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that I've sort of found a good center, right? But I probably have got a lot of benefit out of living in anxiety for a long time, and I think it made me a more creative person.
In a way, because of this anxiety, I heard something similar from a lot of ADHD people.
Yeah.
Because of this anxiety, you're constantly forced to work on your craft.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
For sure.
Last one, but not least.
Okay.
Christian, if you could deliver a 30-second message to humanity,
in
what would you say?
30 seconds.
Yeah. I'm not going to be that strict with you, but 30 seconds.
Oh man.
Think about it for a sec,
Yeah.
because I think something good is coming.
I want to you said the message to humanity, right?
Yes, sir.
So humanity takes a lot of forms, but we're all connected.
Yeah.
You know, we are absolutely all connected. The things that I've found to focus my attention on that I think are making the world a better place. I have come across and been inspired, gotten ideas on how, oh wow, if I worked a little bit in this way, I could make an impact in this way.
Yeah.
I am very proud to have found a few moments in which I could feel like I'm going ahead and saying I can help in this way, and it helps us all, right?
Yeah.
I think that it's a very personal thing, right? And
It's coming. I feel it.
I'm not trying to accomplish something. I want to make an impact for everybody. Like if I'm working on the language stuff, I want my friend's mother, who is in another country, who only speaks a language that I've never heard before, to be able to use the internet in her own keyboard, and have a keyboard and could use an email address at her own language and use the internet for the first time.
Yeah.
Right. That'd be a great long-term impact that comes from a project that I work on. Right. But all I can really do on a daily basis is show up heart-centered and to deal with what's in front of me. And I would say that the biggest thing that I have to share with people is that, you know, I'm lucky enough to have picked 4 or 5 things that I can make little impacts with and hope that it would do something down the road for people that I'll never meet before, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm doing it really just to stay heart-focused, and feeling like if I do this for a few problems that I can solve, there are other people that are going to be doing the same thing for the problems that they can solve,
Yeah.
right? And I can feel less anxious about the rest of the world knowing that there are people like me, right? I don't need to solve all the problems of the world. In fact, the more that I try to pick up more stuff, the less I'm going to be able to do stuff for, you know, really the things that I've decided to focus on, right? I've already picked too many probably to focus on, right? But knowing that there are people like me trying to make that impact, makes it easier to watch the news. It makes it easier to get on social media. It makes it easier to just be in the world, which often seems really dark.
Yeah.
You know what? Somebody has my passion, but for that.
I think first and foremost, it gives you hope.
Yeah.
It's like this wall that you can lean on.
Yeah.
Knowing, hey, there are like-minded people.
And it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
I read a book. I will put it in the show notes on humankind. You know, there are two different schools of thought in terms of our nature. Like there are many opinions, but like Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Thomas Hobbes, right?
Yeah.
So like it's like human beings are essentially manipulative, evil, this and that, and the other party says like human beings are they have good intentions for the most part. And this book gave me a huge it just changed my perspective. And since then, I'm looking at everything. I'm questioning everything because like the whole social media, like it's like a lot of the things we consume are clickbait.
Sure.
And whatever is like dramatic sells more.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like we're just seeing maybe like 1% of the things that happen out there.
Yeah.
Maybe not even that.
Yeah.
We just see the most extreme examples.
Right.
Wars. But like when you look at the hard facts, we live in the most peaceful in comparison to the past time of history.
Yeah.
We have things we've never had before. We collaborate, like talking about internet and internet data structure. We have cables underneath the ocean. Like we are connected in ways that we've never had before.
Yeah.
At a speed we've never had before. We have tools we've never had before.
Yeah.
It gives me so much hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I do. You're talking about, a Locke perspective versus a Rousseau perspective. I think in modern society, we've got the schools of thought that sort of resonate with me as there you can demonstrably tell that there are people with a mindset that is focused on zero sum.
Yeah.
That look at things with, the world has it has this, and I've got to get my share, and we've got to make sure that it's fair for this in this structured pie that we've got, right? Zero sum. And there are people that are thinking about things in an abundant fashion.
Yeah.
In an idea that, well, there's expansive opportunity, there's expansive things out there if we take a broader approach and have abundant thinking about stuff. And I appreciate that the way that you were just framing things, it seemed to come from a very sort of abundant thinking place, which is where I try to bring my own thinking.
To make sure I understand you properly, is this where Adam Grant is going with like givers and takers and exchangers in business? I've read the book at the beginning of 2025. Since then, I can't stop thinking about it. And the very first episode we had in the podcast was exactly about this topic.
Yeah.
And the guest I had in the podcast, Florian Rechtsprecher, he is head of strategy at Unilever. I met him on a train ride. And he just told me, I didn't even know what this guy does for work, He comes obviously from a world of privilege from a financial standpoint, but he has a very strong disability. He's blind and he only sees 3 to 5% or something.
Yeah.
And this disability just marked his life since he was 16. He found out because he was playing soccer and his friends told him, hey, you're always missing from the left side. Like, what's up with you? And then he got the diagnosis. It's just going to get worse and worse. Everyone around him was sad and everything, but he thought, I can't change it. So I will make the most out of my time on this planet. And like he developed this idea, I'm just going to give. He told me on the train, Effe, we're givers.
Yeah.
I'm like, what does that mean? Because I read this book. Is it the same? Like, and the wording you used is a different one, but I think it goes into the same direction. Like, hey, I'm going to do something good. I'm going to give without expecting any returns and then see what that does.
That is part of it. That is part of it. There's also the notion of thinking through whether every interaction needs to have a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
Whether if you are giving something to somebody else, you're by design taking something away from somebody else, right? And the things that we're trying to work on, we are trying not to have that kind of mindset. When we're going out there and trying to, for instance, do the work with the language project to try and bring the next billion online, right? You're creating a scenario where you can hopefully produce, resources that don't exist in the world today, and focus on inclusion in a way that changes the dynamics of who gets to take part in the system, right?
Yes.
And you don't need to take away from anybody to do that, right?
Yeah, but you're giving something.
You're giving something, sure. Yeah, but you can create net positives. You don't have to make deals in which there is a winner and a loser. There are plenty of scenarios in which everybody wins. And look for those. Look for the scenarios where everybody wins and start to have an abundant mindset about the projects that you're working on.
I love it. Christian, I think this is a perfect way to end this conversation.
It's great.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being here. Also, the beginning with Jordan, I think.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to this again. Right now, after so many hours of really functioning on this event, I learned a lot from you since yesterday, and you inspire me.
Appreciate it.
I hope you will also inspire many other people through my channel, and looking forward to talking to you soon again.
I would love to make that happen again. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you.